We're going to now work with a different interval of 45 seconds, and we're going to go through some weighted work. Grab a quick drink. Let's stop this timer. Okay, I know, stop. And let's find 45 seconds. Here we go. So we're going to be working for 45 seconds, and the first thing we're going to do is, using our weight, whatever weight you've got, we are going to do an upright two-handed row. So set yourself upright for this move. So we're going to really be working the shoulders, and we're going to be working the side obliques and the chest, and we're going to bring those elbows high up. All the time your elbows are higher than your chin as you lift and you lift. All the time the elbows are higher than your wrists, sorry. And we're going to row that weight up to our chin. So let's have a good setup. Standing with your feet hip width apart, shoulders are rolled back, and in 5 seconds you're going to bring that weight, your milk bottle, your kettlebell, whatever you're using, up to your chin. Let's go. As many as you can. The first few will feel easy, but as you go through this interval, the work will start to tell. You'll feel a warmth in your shoulders. Keep those elbows higher than your wrists. If you're going for speed, check that you're not sacrificing any technique. Knees are soft, chin is up, 10 seconds are left. Keep on going, keep on breathing. 5 seconds, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, we're going to move very quickly down onto our mats, and we're going to do our reverse crunch. So you are going to extend your legs, hands are facing inwards, hips are up. Extend those legs without dropping the hips. If you want to, maybe you can try and touch the opposite foot. Keep the hips up. Keep breathing. Reaching across the body, opposite hand to opposite foot, or just extending those legs out. Keeping those feet returning under the knees. Pushing up with the hips. And you're done. We're back up to standing. And now we're going to take the weight in the right hand. Set yourself up for an overhead press. So you've got your weight in the right hand, and you are going to press that weight up and over the top of your head. Bring that weight down to underneath your chin in line with your breastbone. Pushing up, feeling that warmth in the shoulders. Breathing. As I say, they start off easy, and as you start to get into the last 15 seconds, you'll feel that work. Here we go. Breathe. Pressing and pressing. Doesn't have to be a heavy weight. 5 seconds. Okay, well done. We're going to get back down onto the floor. Let me just pause this timer. Back onto the floor. And again, we're in that same position with our hands pointing in, and take yourself back down to the point where you can feel those abs start to quake. And then we're going to extend 1 foot at a time. Extend and extend, all the time leaning back. If you want to, you can keep your feet off the floor, and you can extend those legs through the whole of the interval. Otherwise, return those heels back to the floor. Okay, so let's do a good setup on this. Just check that you keep your chin up and that you don't compensate on the back. You're going to use your abs for this one. Take the weight back, pushing into the heels of your hands and extending those legs, feeling the work in your belly. And then, if you are confident, extend those legs from elevated. Keep that chin up. Keep pushing onto the heels of the hands. Keeping those heels low. Doing your best, 1 foot at a time, returning the heel to the floor. Giving it to those abs. And take a rest. Okay, we're up and standing, and we're going to take the weight into the other hand, and we're going to do an overhead press on the other side. Okay, so this is my left, so let's have a good setup. Again, your weight is going to push through your midline and pressing up. Here we are, we're in our first 15 seconds. It's all feeling good, so settle into your heels. Let's get some speed up and keep pressing. Maybe it's starting to feel a bit harder. Recruit the breath. You're into the last 15 seconds. Keep pressing. Pressing and pressing. Pressing and pressing. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, we are now going to take ourselves back down onto the mat, and we're going to do a bit more body weight. This time you're going to take your hips up off the floor, and you're going to lift one leg up, and you're going to push up into the heel that's on the floor. Now just check as you're doing this that the muscle that's working is your bottom. Don't go for super high lifts and strain your back. Go for a tiny move, tiny move, and you can actually just keep that foot really just hovering off the floor and give it to your bottom. Check that your bottom is doing this work and not your back. It's not a massive move. That foot is off the floor. And your bottom is doing the work. Okay, and we are in a plank position, back with our weight. Let me just take a bit of time to teach this one. So you've got your plank position. You might be on your knees with your hands under your shoulders, and your weight is underneath. What you're going to do is you're going to pass your weight side to side, across the body, keeping that plank position. Okay, passing it under the chest and returning the hands underneath your shoulders. The temptation will be to take your hands out forward, so all the time be sure that you're taking those hands underneath your shoulders and that your weight doesn't roll away. So this is a underbody pass. You can do this in a high plank, taking your weight side to side, moving it underneath the body. You can do this with a tin of beans. You can do this with a bag of sugar. You can do this with a kettlebell. You can do this with a dumbbell. Take your time. Passing that weight underneath the body, pushing into the heels of the hands, and resetting with those hands underneath your shoulders as you pass that weight. Pass that weight. Squeezing your glutes, squeezing your abs, minimizing that body rock. Okay, we are going to set ourselves up for our glute bridge raises with the other foot off the floor. So, setting up, taking the hips up, you're going to lift the other foot off, and again you're pushing into that other heel, and you're really working the bottom. Check that you're not going for spectacular raises and all you're doing is just pushing out the lower back. So this is a glute move. This is all about your bum. Okay, so take one foot off the floor and up you go. If you find this is too much, take a rest. Lift, replace that foot. You know where your work is. Take a little rest between reps. This interval is yours. You can do as much as you want with it. Pushing into that heel and really working that bum as you push and push up. Not a big move. This is one of those moves which is tiny, but the work is really happening. Breathing into that burning feeling in your bottom, because boy oh boy does that make your bum burn. And then we're up to standing, and you've got your weight in front. You've got the weight at eye level, and we're going to do some steering wheels. So you steer that weight in front of your face, keeping those arms extended. If this is too much to have your arms extended, you can do it with the arms bent. Have those arms bent, but you're turning that steering wheel in front of the face. Your weight is in your heels. Turning that weight. Breathing, checking that your knees are not locked out. We're into the last 15 seconds. This is where the work really is. Give it to the breath. 7 seconds. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. This is the work that we really find hard. It is tough stuff, which is why it's so great that you're doing this workout today. We're going to finish off with some ab crunches. Again, these are not massive moves. You're pushing the small of the back into your mat. Pushing that small of the back down. Pushing your belly button to meet your backbone. It's a tiny little move. Your feet are underneath your knees, and you're not pulling on your neck. Your neck is not taking any of this. It's your belly that's taking this. It's an ab crunch. If you're doing it right, you can't talk. Breathe. Tuck the chin into the chest. And that's wonderful. So that's our circuit done once. We've got time to do it again. So we're going to take ourselves with our weights. You're an expert this time round. And we are going to do our two-handed row. If you want to, you can add a squat between times. So take that down into a squat and bring it up into that row. Taking the weight into the heels, keeping those elbows higher than your wrists. Otherwise you are just rowing, bringing that weight up and up. Checking that you're giving it to the heels. Squatting into the heels. Keeping that chin up if you've added this modification. 10 seconds are left. 6 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Fantastic. Well done if you added that squat in. So we're going to take it down onto the mat. Reverse crunches. Set yourself up. Hips are off the floor. Extending those legs. Pushing up with those hips. Let's go. Extend. Keep it controlled. Pushing into the heels of the hands. And then if you want to, touch the opposite toe. If that's too much, touch the opposite knee. Knee to elbow. Whoop. I said my balance was off today. Keep the hips up off the floor. Don't forget, you can just take it back down to that modification. Extending those legs. Bringing those feet underneath those knees. Keeping the hips up. Well done. Okay, we're going to go into our overhead press with our weight on the right. Pushing through the midline. So draw yourself a line, sort of belly button, sternum, septum, and you're going to push straight through that line. With the right, pushing up. Breathing. Locking out that arm. Keeping the chin up. Really working that shoulder. Pushing into your heels. We're on the home straight now. You have got 15 seconds. Feeling that burn in the shoulders. Reaching and breathing. 3, 2, 1. Wonderful. We're going to take ourselves back down to do a bit more ab work. Onto the mat. Sinking back onto those abs and extending those legs. Replacing the heel on the floor, or if you want to, just kicking forward with those heels. Keeping those heels off the floor for the whole interval. It's up to you. Push forward with the heels. Don't forget to breathe. Taking your shoulders back so that you really are using those abs in this V sit position. Your body makes a V shape. Pushing forward with those heels. 5 seconds, keep breathing. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Fantastic. Those are done for today. Well done. So we're going to do our overhead press on the other side. Take your weight. Set yourself up. Knees are not locked out. Little pelvic tilt. And again, you're going to push that weight through that midline. Pushing straight up. Out of the top of your head. And breathing. Check that your heels are supporting you. Nice tilt in that pelvis. Abs are engaged. Pressing and pressing. Pressing and pressing. Feeling that burning feeling in your shoulders. We're on the home straight. 10 seconds are left. Breathe through to the end, everybody. Well done. Those are your overhead presses done, okay? We're going to set ourselves up for the glute raises. So take those hips off the floor, lifting one foot up. If you want to, you can extend a leg in the air and push that heel up to the sky. Otherwise, you can just sort of leave that leg hanging around. And it is a tiny little move. You just want to make sure that all the time you're pushing up with those hip bones and the work is being done in your bottom, not in your lower back. If I was watching you now, I'd be looking for not too much back movement. I would be really looking for that hip movement, and I'd be looking for evidence that you're pushing into that heel that's on the floor. Tiny move. Breathing and breathing. Fantastic. Whew. Let's come to standing. Oh no, we're not. We're going to roll over. We're going to do our plank kettlebell shuffle. Okay. So, set yourselves up in a really good plank. You know to have those hands under the shoulders and passing that weight underneath the body. Keeping those shoulders parallel to the floor. Let's not have any hip rocking. If you're up on your toes, keep it controlled. Passing that weight, nice and controlled. Resetting those hands underneath your shoulders. Don't forget to breathe, the weight's rolling away. Maybe when the weight starts to roll, you have to speed up to grab that weight. We're going to go over onto our other side and we're going to do our single leg glute bridge. Check your other foot is underneath your knees. And let's push. Push up into that heel that's on the floor and give it to those bum cheeks. Squeeze and squeeze. It's a tiny move that your bottom is delivering this move. Breathing and breathing. Pushing into that heel, and that is our glute bridges done. And next of all, we're going to stand with our weight. We're going to give it some steering wheels. Let me just show you on the side how this is set up. Weight is in your heels, knees are soft, and you've got your weight at face height. Turning that weight over and over. Breathing, breathing. If it's too much to have that weight on an extended arms, bend those elbows. And then what you do is you shorten the lever. You give yourself a better chance. If you feel that that weight is light, extend those arms. Lengthen the lever, and then you'll feel a bit more weight work in your abs, in your shoulders. Fantastic. And we're going to finish off with some good old ab crunches. This is the sort of work that you wouldn't do unless somebody set you up for them. So let's just tuck that chin into the chest, pushing that belly button down to meet your backbone. Exhale over time. As you can hear, if you do these right, it takes your breath away. Push down, pushing down. As many or as few as you want. The lower back has got this move. Keep breathing. Woo. And that, everybody, as they say, is that. So I'm going to ask you to put something warm on, take a sip of water, and we're going to finish off with some stretches. Because I don't know about you, but I have been sweating doing this workout. And whew, let's stretch ourselves out by again repeating those hip hinges that we did at the start of our workout, part of our warm-up. So slide your hands down the front of the legs and up you come. Slide your hands down the front of the legs and up you come. And on the next one, I want you to slide those hands down, push into the heels, and then reach your arms forward. Free the toes off the floor and keep your eyes on your fingertips, a bit like Superman in flight. Pushing your bottom out and feeling that stretch in those hamstrings. Breathe, exhale, and push into the heels and reach forward with the fingertips. Come out of the stretch and then sink into it. Push into the heels and reach forward with those fingertips. One more time. And come up to standing. For this next one, you might want to use a chair. So we're going to stretch out the front of the legs. So tucking a foot up behind you, pushing your hip bones forward, And then reaching up with the opposite arm. If you can, free yourself off the chair. Otherwise, hang on to that chair for support. And just take your hand off and just give your balance a little check. Reaching up, breathing. Feeling a stretch in the quads, in the front of the leg. We've just stretched the back of the leg, so now we're stretching the front. And drop the leg. You might want to move the chair around to the other side. And again, tuck that foot up behind you. And when you've got your balance, reaching up. Breathing as you tuck that foot into your bottom. Pushing the hips forward. And exhaling. And drop the feet. We're going to stretch out the top of the arm. I'm just going to turn my back to you. You're going to take one arm up and take that hand down the back of your head and then push on the upper arm with the opposite hand. Check that your knees are soft, that you're pushing into your heels as you push on that upper arm, stretching through the shoulder and under the arm. Take the arm up and drop it down. Let's repeat on the other side. So take one arm up, sandwich it to your ear, and then bend at the elbow, and then with the other hand grab hold of the arm and push it down your back. And again, you're feeling that stretch through the arm and through the shoulder. We've done a lot of work with those weights, so it's a good old stretch to do. Exhale, give it to the heels, give it time. Come out of that stretch, and we're going to just do a little bit more work on those arms. So link the fingertips in front and take your ears between your arms, and you're going to round out your back, tilting your pelvis under, rounding out the spine and pushing into your heels, and push your knuckles away from yourself. Feeling that stretch across the upper back. Toes are free and you're breathing. Squeezing up your lady bits. And then drop the arms. And then we're going to link the fingers behind. And your fingers are just clasped over your bottom. And lifting those hands a little way to stretch across the pecs, the front of the chest. With your chin up, knees are not locked, weight is in the heels. Lifting those hands up. For some people, they don't need to lift them up. They just pull those shoulders apart. And that's enough. Feeling that stretch. Let's drop the hands to the bottom, and then let's take the arms forward. 1, 2, and 3, and let's take those arms back. 1, 2, and 3. And the last thing we're going to do today is we're just going to set ourselves up in a balance on one leg. So it might be that you're just going to balance by lifting a knee forward, or it might be that you're going to take that leg up behind. But just explore your balance. one leg. It's all about core strength. And this is one of the life-enhancing aspects of having better core strength. When you tumble, when you stumble, when you trip, this balance, this strength is what can just save you. Save you a trip to A&E. And then switch sides. See if you've got a side that's better balanced. And it might be that you want to change that balance. Just explore standing on one leg, lifting those arms, seeing where your strength is. And that, my friends, is our workout done. Have a terrific week.